Monday Night Live, 6 p.m. We're going to start. Thanks for joining. Good evening, Patrick. Wave back at you. Got young Barnabas in the house. Come on, Barney. Come and say hello. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Yeah. There he is. There's the hound. Normally has a little sleep. There he is. Crackpot. Come here, come here. Oi, come here. Good boy, good boy. Come here. Come here. So as usual, we'll be taking your questions, anything on golf coaching and club equipment, and anything else you want to talk about when it comes to golf. Happy to take all of your questions. Got a few coming in already. Hi Stuart, I was just wondering, what are your club distances like your 7-iron? 7-iron's 180. 180 with the 7-iron. That would be my distance. You can actually see a video I did a little while ago on, it's actually titled My Distances. You can check that out. Sights and sounds of nature. What a handle that is. What size is your impact screen? Any idea?
About 4 metres by 3.5 metres.
4 metres by about 3.5 metres.
These two are 4.5 wide. That one's 4.2. Yeah.
What's the one upstairs? The one that I...
5 wide.
Maybe 5.
Wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit bigger upstairs. Down here, a hair smaller. More intimate, some would say. It's nice, isn't it? Very nice. Thank you for being with us. We kick things off at 6 p.m. on the channel. And we just get the stream up and running a bit early. Have a bit of a countdown on the Precision Golf channel. You can catch it over there as well. There's a good few of you on. Double tap the screen. That would be fantastic. It will share the stream far and wide throughout the shorts world, so do that if you can. It's free to do so. Mark Gay is on. I appreciate that you like dogs. Well, that's good. He's a working Cocker Spaniel. He's been a really, really enjoyable doggy to have around. Teaching him little tricks, big into his agility. My wife and Barney train probably twice a week. EDVCA, I've played for nearly 17 years and I'm NGL as of last week. NGL? NGL? NGL. I'm NGL of last week, don't know what that means. I've given up for my days playing golf. I can't do it anymore. It honestly just makes me depressed because I can't get better.
Not gonna lie.
Not
gonna lie. Yeah.
Not going to lie. Yes, yes. Yeah, he's just put it up. Not going to lie. I was sorry to hear that. Just watch more of my content and you'll play better golf, I promise you.
Yellow.
Starts with the grip. Huh?
Yellow.
YOLO. You only live once, baby. You only live once. Double tap that string, friends. It's free to do so. And it will share the string. We have 2 minutes until we kick off, where we go live on Precision Golf's channel as well. David Rice is on. Good day, Stuart. Good day, David. Thanks for being with us. The pre-show show. Did you watch Grand Prix at the weekend?
Was at a talk with Susie Wolf last night, right. So I'm aware of the result. I haven't watched it. We are going to watch it probably tomorrow.
Got it.
Apparently it's a good one though.
Yeah, wasn't bad.
As far as they go now.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it's interesting.
Yeah,
So.
it's good. Yeah, it's a good race. Yeah.
She's
1
an
minute.
impressive woman actually. It's what she's achieved, sport-wise. Yeah, doesn't take any truck.
Yep. All right. Stephen Crossley's on. Good evening, Stephen. Got a few questions in. If you are asking questions this evening, get them in nice and early. We draw the bridge down at 7 p.m.
Does it start from top down or does it start from bottom up?
Top down.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I've got the stuff ready for.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I've gone early on one that was at the bottom.
Oh right.
Oh, I've got them ready. At least I know what to.
That's all right.
Got
Pop
them
out
there.
chat. There we go. Get the chat out.
Who we got here? We've got one of
So do get those questions in.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
on the Amazon golf ball.
I saw on the old Instagram.
Cheap as chips.
Good evening and welcome to another Monday Night Live here at Precision Golf in the UK, Surrey. We are welcoming you all over the world. We want you to have as many questions in this evening as possible. Get them in nice and early because we will answer them all within the hour as best as we can. But if we do overrun, unfortunately, we can't answer all the questions. So do get them in nice and early for us. James, as usual, behind the ramp on the discs. Sounds like we've got an audio problem. But we'll keep on going nevertheless. How's things with you at your end?
Good, yeah.
Busy week?
Yeah, it just softens down a little bit this time of year, but there's loads going on in terms of organising meetings to look at new product, to look at stuff for next year, for all the stuff we can't talk about until January. But yeah,
sure.
It's starting to ramp up for that now.
Yeah. So we'll crack straight on in with the questions because we've got plenty of them coming in. We will start with Ivan3221. Hello and good morning. I was looking into your old videos and stumbled on the range versus new ball video. Have you ran the numbers on a very used range ball versus a premium ball? If so, what is the drop off?
So on a very used one, not yet. I mean, some of the bigger differences with that are going to be actually stability of flight, where the very used ones basically don't have any dimples on anymore. That's the one where you get the drawing fade that has multiple ball flights in it. But ultimately, construction-wise, it's still the same. There's still a cover that gets no grip with wedges. Mid-iron, you're going to see very similar ball flights. Driver flight will have a bit of a tail off, but if you're practicing wedges, only do it for direction, don't do it for flight.
A Baker 76 says, Stu, will there eventually be an online course? Yes, there will be. I am filming as we speak. I'm also building a website as we speak where you'll be able to have a members area, online courses and all of that kind of fun stuff. So yes, stay tuned for that. It's a lot of work whilst juggling a busy diary as well. So that is all coming very soon for sure. By the end of January, it will be launched. Ivan3221 also goes on to say, I've always heard that the yardage difference on a used range ball versus a premium is about 8%. Is there validity in this? 8% is generally speaking an entire club length, 10 to 15 yards difference. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I've heard, ultimately there's going to be a difference. If it's a really worn one, then if it could be anything, to be frank. I mean, I've heard like 15% is where a lot of range balls have been, as far as I understand it to be. But that's because they've got limited space for ranges, so that they just don't go as far. I think if you're using used range balls to gauge distance, you're in the wrong place. I think with the amount of facilities now that have something like a TrackMan or a Foresight or something to actually measure it, you're far better off if you're actually gauging yardage. Go find one of those, because using a range board, the variety out of them, if they're really old, is going to be pretty horrific. So,
Baptiste asks, hi Stuart, how to encourage the swing moment on short game as the move is subtle? Struggle to start in opposition with the full swing. Thank you in advance. The transition between backswing and downswing in short game shots is crucial to allowing that golf club to swing. We have far too much acceleration going on in short game shots. So just think of the change in direction a little bit softer and a little bit slower, and you'll be able to create that swing moment at the ball. If it gets too quick, you'll get the swing moment a little bit too late in the circle. Hopefully that helps. Martin 8007. Hi, can you compare the Dynamic Gold 120 S300 with the Project X IZ 5.5? My swing speed is in the low 80s. Also mention if there are other similar options in weight, if there's similar weight and feel to those that I should try. Thank you.
great. I'll grab those two shafts now. LZ 5.5, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Crossley asked the amount of arm from shoulder and from rotation. I get confused with Stuart. The amount of arm from shoulder. Do you mean hand from shoulder? And from rotation, I get confused. You're going to have to elaborate a little bit more on that, Stephen. Not quite sure where you're going with that. Harry James, hello, I'm from Nigeria. Fantastic, I've been to Nigeria. I went to Nigeria when I was 17 years old, 18-year-olds. I played in the Nigerian Open, flew into Lagos and then got an internal flight up to Abuja. It was the scariest week of my life, without question, and it set me up for my travels for the rest of time. Yeah, and welcome to Nigeria. Here we go.
So start with the Dynamic Gold 120. So both shafts are relatively tip balanced. The LZ, the principle of the LZ stands for loading zone. So if I hold this up close to the camera, you see some ripples in the shaft. Hopefully I catch the light right. So the ripples are effectively steps, gets a bit narrow, so they narrow quickly here, which creates a softer bit of profile in that bit of the shaft, creates a bit of load and feedback. Standard Project X is actually really stout through that middle section, which is why they've done that, to get a bit more feel, and there's a relatively mid stability out the tip. The Dynamic Golds and the 120s are kind of pretty mid-profile all through. They swing quite heavy though, so they're not wildly different shafts. I mean, other shafts, I think part of the question was what other shafts would be considered in this area. I mean, you've got a C-taper 120 KBS. That again, in terms of how it swings, bottom end heavy but more tip stiff. I mean, there's a Project X Red in a 120, which is more tip responsive. So there are, in that 120 or ground weight, there are several models. Nippon a Modus 115, which ironically is 118 grams. That sits in a similar kind of weight range. So there are quite a few, but these ones are not too harsh in the kind of midsection, bit of stability in the tip, but balanced down the bottom. So the Dynamic Gold 120, let's make sure my back moved all right.
That moved okay. No clicking, no whacking.
AVX. So starting with the Dynamic Gold 120, from a feel point of view, relatively stable. You get a little bit through that midsection, but it's not a harsh shaft, but it swings relatively heavy. So mid spin, I'm playing the S3, Mizuno S3 iron, so there's no tech in it whatsoever. Mid launch, mid spin, but it will swings. There's plenty to hit against in the bottom end, bit of give in that middle section. If we're comparing with the LZ, traditionally the Project X's are a little bit firmer in the handle section. So they have a slightly thicker diameter at the top of the shaft as well, which is part of what gives it that stability, hoop strength, as we talk about. I mean, in principle, you'd say 5.5 and a S300. They play a very similar flex as well, if you were to look at it that way, but definitely a little bit more rigidity in the handle of the Project X LZ. And a bit of a tighter feel through the ball, doesn't swing quite as tip heavy. And that shot was a couple hundred revs lower spin, but similar kind of launch. But tighter feel and uses the tip a bit more. A little bit of a softer feel in that midsection, more stable in the tip, swings a bit heavier. Both good shafts.
Mark Gay goes on and asks, what do you think about the amount of force in the backswing should be that of half of the downswing? I would say it would be closer to, I would say 20% force in your backswing, 80% force in your downswing. That's how much of a difference backswing to downswing would be in my eyes. Let's go on to another question on, so we're going to alternate. So one question from Precision Golf, one question from Good Golf Coaching. Keep those questions coming in. So how does a tour, DJ Golf 10 asks, no it doesn't, Ivan 3221 again, can you discuss the advantage or lack of for the AMT shaft system? If the weight is the primary factor for fitting, would AMT shafts actually work for most? They produce good results, but are not for the norm.
No, I think AMTs are an interesting one. I would say for the where they have a kind of a validity is that they get proportionally, there's more of a difference through the set. So it's about 20 grams in the black and the white models between the longest and the shortest iron, and in the red it's more like kind of 10 or 12. Most shafts have around the 8 to 10 gram variation. So in the black and the white they progress a lot, which for a stronger swing, the problem is you're going to have a short iron that suits and a long iron that's too light, or a long iron that suits and a short iron that's too heavy. So I don't think they really work there, but the principle in the lighter weights that you can have a bit of structure in the short irons and then make the longer irons easier to swing, there's definitely a theory there. But in the black and the white models, the progression of weight's generally too steep. I don't see many players where that actually helps if you're using that kind of weight of shaft. But in the red, potentially that can work well.
Fantastic stuff. Callum, hi guys, new to the game here and it's going great. Seeing a high amount of improvement in my game. I had a dispute with a guy I was paired with on Saturday. He wasn't happy with my bunker play. Well, a good improvement, new to the game. Forget a dispute with the guy. He must have been a bit of a bell end. Anyway, there we go. Because anyone that's playing good golf, it's a joy to see. DJ Golf 10, how does a Tour AD VF and Diamana WB compared to a 1K Pro White? And can you make up for different shaft weights by changing grip and head weight?
So the second bit, not really no, because you're compromising the overall flow of the weight through the club. And you're using the book end of the weight, you're using the very extremes of the club. So you can't make up for a shaft that's too light, we're going a heavy grip and a heavy head, because you end up with lead ball at the end of a piece of string and detached mass. Or too heavy in shaft and going light each end, then that doesn't work either, you lose the feel of the head. So Tour AD VF, very, very stiff tip. It's the most sort of kind of US or tour style shaft that they've ever done in terms of rigidity. Very stout, swings fairly strong for weight, fairly tip balanced, very, very stable, so it's a really aggressive move. What are the other shafts? DM on a whiteboard, still very stout in the tip section. As you go up the flexes in the X and the TX, the butt section really ramps up in terms of stiffness, but doesn't swing as heavy. So they sit, a Tour AD VF6 is a 67, 69 gram shaft. The whiteboard 60 is more like a 62, 63, so there's quite a big difference in dead weight there. And then compared to a Tensei Pro White, that's a bit of a more responsive profile, still in theory low spin, but a slightly softer feel, similar around 62, 63 grams, but less hard tight feel than the whiteboard. So very similar to that in terms of structure, but more responsive feel.
PM Golf asks, what do you think about the 2021 T200 if I'm on a budget?
They're quite a strong flight. I mean, good head all right. The 21s weren't the ones where the back plates fell off. That was the 23s. But yeah, solid club head. They do produce quite a punchy flight, pretty low spin. But you know, certainly on a budget and looking to get some relevant tech, there's still tungsten heel and toe. The weight still sits nice and deep. So if you're looking to get good value out of a set, that kind of 2 cycles past product is a good place to start. There's still some really good heads from that era.
We do this every Monday night, 6 p.m. Come and join Simon and I. James behind the cameras, answer all your questions, anything golf coaching and club equipment, and anything else golf that you want us to discuss. Fire up the questions on either of the Precision Golf or the Good Golf Coaching feed, and we will gladly answer them. Get them in nice and early. We keep it nice strict to the hour if we can. Let's head back over to the Precision Golf. 3 Blue CJ. Hi, fellas. Good evening, Blue CJ. Could you compare the 10.5 and the 9.0 heads of the Cobra Adapt Max K driver with the Ventus Red 6X, please? Amazing channel. Thank you.
Okay.
That was like reading off some sort of print on the back of a magazine. Doug says, hi guys, I saw Doug earlier today. Hi guys, a bit tongue-in-cheek, Stu, but how important do you think posture and setup is, particularly in relation to balance and lead shoulder pivot point? P.S. Please don't show anyone the before pics. Yeah, so Doug came down today and had a golf lesson, a really good golfer, single figure player, and his posture was a little bit out. Balance was compromised, and all of a sudden found some more mobility, got the ball with a different start line and shape. Obviously had some good fundamentals in there as well. Posture and balance is everything. You know, when you think about shifting weight around in the gym, if you were off balance and you were to pick up a dumbbell or a kettlebell and your balance was compromised, that weight in that dumbbell or kettlebell would be significantly reduced. So when you're thinking about shifting weight, balance is everything to mobilising your body and giving you the best possible chance to put yourself in the right spot to hit the ball straight, hopefully.
Yep, right.
Give it a go.
But it was Red 6X, wasn't it? I haven't just gone and got the wrong thing.
No, I think it was.
So I'll start off with the 9 degree. So the difference between the 9 and the 10.5 in the DS Adapt 10 or DS Adapt Max K. So obviously 1.5 degrees in loft. So we're going to see a launch angle and a spin difference. Oh, if I can hit the right bit of the club face, that was a horrid move. Well, that shows how forgiving the head is, because that was not a good swing and that went pretty straight. Give that one more. So for me, when I get weight back in the head, I kind of spoon it under a little bit. But you can see there, even at a 15.5 launch, it's still 2-1 on spin. So the lower loft does keep the spin in check. So I popped it up a little bit, it's lost a bit of ball speed, but you know, still quite stable for spin. So really what I'd expect to see is you should see roughly, if they're all at the right bit of the club face, around 1 degree or so of launch angle difference, just under 1 degree. But spin should be affected by a good few hundred revs, 300-400 revs. So I'd expect this to be more like a 2.6, 2.7 in terms of spin. Right, so let's try this one. So didn't sky that one. So that one's got the 15.8 launch when I didn't hit it higher, particularly high at the face. 250 revs more spin. So generally, if I get the 9 properly, we're going to be like a 14.5 degree launch and 2,000 spin. So there are some heads that you're going to see. The Cobra heads generally, these have been good for spin, but create a bit of launch. Something like a Pinger is going to spin proportionally a little bit more, and I'd see the 10.5 flare up more in terms of spin. But the Cobras this year have been very good for low spin if you're catching it sort of slightly on the up or a little bit above centre. So it's not vast differences, but it's where you're trying to get that pitch of window. But for the standard setting, roughly 300 revs of spin and about 3/4 degree of launch would be what I'd expect you to see if you can find the middle, unlike me.
Tiger Tales of the Tape. Hi Stu, thank you for all of the content. You are super welcome. I've implemented your grip, which has greatly helped the swing path and shot shape for my irons, but still battling a slice with my driver and woods. Yeah, go check out my driver series. I've done loads of content on the driver. Just because you've got a great grip doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to fix your driver, but it will certainly go a long way. Go check out a lot of my content on there. Scottled Berry 2082. Hi men, hi. Is it possible that Simon could compare the Tensei Blue AV 55 gram S, Ventus Blue 5S and the Ventus Blue 2 TR 5S, please? Many thanks.
This was the one I prepped earlier.
Got it.
So I'm going to do the two Ventuses first, and actually the AV, I'm actually going to do the 1K because that is the stock shaft this year with them, and the AV is not in the bag. So I'll use the 1K because that's their current stock version of it. So the two Ventuses, tip stable, in principle low spin. The TR has a weave in the butt section, makes the butt a little bit stiffer, which in principle means it's slightly lower spin. It's kind of more of a halfway between blue and black. And then the Tensei AV/1K Blue is a softer profile, more kind of softer in the middle, a little bit higher launch, in theory. So Ventus Blue, stout, solid feel, nice strong ball flight. I got this in a GT2 9 degree. Nice solid ball flight, mid to strongish launch, mid spin, but certainly something you can get into and give it a hit. You can get a bit of feel for the bottom end of the shaft as well, but very stable in that tip section. If I go TR, now one of the things that changes with the TR, where it's got the weave in the butt section, it pulls the balance up the shaft a little bit. So for someone, it's not counterbalanced, but it's not as tip heavy as the standard Blue. I think the second gen, the Velocore Plus, are definitely a bit of a smoother feel to the first gen in the Ventus line. Yeah, so for me, I lose the feel of the bottom end. I need a bit of balance in the bottom end of the shaft with these, so it doesn't swing as well as the standard Blue series. But you know, it's pulled launch down. In theory, it should pull launch down a little bit, which it has done. Spins in a similar window. Again, still a very stout, solid feel.
Changing, changing.
And I'll put the 1K in this. Right, very nearly there. Right, so you're certainly, I'd say, a softer profile, softer in the midsection. Definitely get the sense of a bit of load and you know, kick to it. Look, the head's still a stable head, so the flight's not massively affected. I actually caught that maybe a little bit toe side, so it's drawn over a touch, but you get much more of a feel of kind of lag and kick out of the middle section of this shaft. The other two are much tighter, but all pretty similar ball flights because the head produces that kind of strong ball flight, but definitely quite different feels.
Danny Stimson says, Callum's not here for golf advice. I think you're absolutely right. Callum isn't here for golf advice. Let's move on to JBIL8802. Good evening, gents. Good evening to you. Could you compare the Ping driver stock? You're busy more tonight. Simon, could you compare the Ping driver stock offerings of the Carly White and Torchrome 2.0?
Let's double check. We've definitely got the Torchrome. The Kylie White, I'll check whether we've got them the same weights.
Give us a double tap on the screen. Give us a like on the Precision Golf feed as well. That would always go warmly. It helps spread the feed and get a few people watching. Thank you so much for that. Simon is just off to go and find the equipment for us to test for you. Where are you watching from? Let us know where you're watching from. We have some people all over the world. Had someone in from Nigeria. Had some. Where are you watching from? South Africa? Arizona? New York? Berkshire? Berkshire? Yeah, can I have a bit of the Berkshire? Barney's woken up. Danny Stimson, he is watching from the Isle of Wight. What a lovely place that is. Have you always lived in the Isle of Wight? Oh, we've got someone, Rick, is from Idaho.
Ah,
Thanks for watching, Rick.
all the eyes. Now, Kylie White.
A Baker is from Utah.
I'm going to double check because
Brilliant
Kylie
to have
White.
all these different locations in.
I'm going to double check. Kylie White, I'm not 100% sure, is. Yeah, Kylie White is not one of their stock shafts. So I can't compare that. I can compare the Tensei Black, but the Kylie White is not a stock ping shaft.
Right.
Or not over here. Might
Right.
be in the States, but I don't believe it is. But I've got the chrome and the Tensei Black that I will give a little test of.
Mark Gay is from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Ah.
Go Big Red. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like
I would
you do.
imagine it's either a college team
Yeah, I'm sure.
or...
I'm sure.
right,
I'm sure.
make sure I get the right screw.
Lovely to have you guys along. It really does mean so much to us for you to tune in and ask questions. And if you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see on one of our lives, we're always open to suggestions.
Right.
Let us know. We've got someone in from Yorkshire, God's own country.
Huh.
I think everyone says that. So was it down in Australia? They say God's country to. I think they say it to Sydney or something.
Isn't there
everyone's got
I think
God's
there's
country.
a Blake, the Americans on this like, there's a Blake Shelton country song. I think it's God's Country,
Right,
which is about the South.
got it.
So,
Yeah,
good song that as well.
everyone's in God's country, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everyone's got.
Technically, yes, he is Lord of all he surveys and made us all. So, you know, there we go. Technically, we are all there.
Yeah. we're all there.
So, Ping Tour Chrome, not as low launch and spin as the Tour Black. Got the 65 in both. So the Ping Tour shafts used to be made. I think they make them themselves now, but used to be made by UST. A bit of a trivia for you, but yeah, Tour Chrome. They're upper mid balance. They're not counterbalanced, but they're more kind of upper mid and fairly stable in the handle end. I've got a 9° 440 max on the bottom here. So something that's very even profile through. Definitely get a bit of sense of a bit of load through it. This is the 65 stiff. It's not a harsh shaft, but it's nice and stable. You definitely get a bit of kick, bit of responsiveness to it, but it doesn't swing heavy. Same with the Tour Black, same kind of thing. They're not heavy swinging shafts compared to some of the other ones. Whereas the Tensei 1K Black, just so I can give a comparison. I mean, the Kylie White is a whiteboard profile. It's a tip stiff setup, but so it's not what the Ping do, so I can't compare it in this. But the Tensei 1K Black, lower launch, lower spin design, little bit more bounce down the bottom end, definitely suits more of a hitter. The Tour Chrome, if you're someone who doesn't really kind of fetch at it, it's kind of quiet arms and just turn through, that's going to be easier to square off. This one, that bottom end needs a bit of hitting against. So it's going to want to create a little bit more of a drop in. So I've got to work a bit hard to square that off. Which for my swing probably works a bit better because I've always had a bit of a fetch at it. But nice low spin, but definitely a harder feel through the bottom, get a little less kick and feedback to it. But I quite like the way I'm swinging it today.
Doug says, is there a facility to get woods refurbished?
There are some. The only danger I see with any refurbishments is, and I've seen this with some irons recently, well not recently, quite a lot over the years, but is if you get them refurbed, their weight can change quite a bit. You know, with irons, they're taking the chrome off, they're effectively replating them. There's a set that we've had just come in on Friday that are about 6 or 7 grams lighter. That's a whole club head lighter. So the only danger of it is that the head weight can change a lot, and that changes the build spec quite a bit.
JPKE7TT says, great channel, thanks Simon. What about me? Eh?
So I was waiting for the Anne Stewart there.
No, Anne Stewart, just great you, well done. Rob K, 9 months in Stu and still following and enjoying your content. I find I often have to watch your videos numerous times as I pick up something new every time. Go Blue Jays. Don't know what that means, Rob K, but
That's
Go Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series.
Brilliant, brilliant. Go the Blue Jays. Papa Bear 2026. Hey guys, any chance you could show us the Bettinardi CB irons and hit them with feedback? Thanks, Chris.
Right.
Chris is a fantastic skillist subscriber for myself, working on his game. Really enjoying that process. Nice to be doing that. James Gamble, thank you for all of your videos. Before I watched your grip and broom videos, I was a disaster. 80% of long irons and woods were high and right. Everyone had a ton of tips, but nothing worked. Well, that's great to hear. He goes on to say, you literally saved my game as I was about to quit. Great to hear.
Ah, so that's awesome to hear that as well.
Great to hear.
Re-enthused. This is the thing. Lots of theories and lots of bollocks.
Yeah, lots of bollocks.
Find someone who knows what they're talking about. It's very helpful. So, excuse my French, by the way. Bettinardi CB iron. So you've got a bit of mass at the bottom here. Very clean, single piece milled, much like their putters. Really accurate. Now, the only thing I would say that the mass is slightly out the toe side to move the centre of mass into the centre of the head. The hosel weighs quite a bit, so that's why if you don't have that, a blade, pure blade with no tech, the sweet spot is slightly heel side. So they're trying to move the mass to the centre of the head, the centre mass to the centre of the head. Nice bit of grind work on the back as well, so a graduated back edge. The only thing I would say with the Bettinardi heads, they're beautifully made, they are heavy. So a 6-iron normal head weight on most brands is 258 to 260 grams. We're at 264, 265 with this, which is a lot. So actually, from a spec point of view, I would like to do more with them and fit them for more players, but it makes achieving a lighter swing weight impossible. And we don't, with a head like this, we don't really want to start grinding and drilling weight out of them. So that's the only practical caveat to them. But they've got a fairly longish head. There's a little bit of thickness to the top line, so visually there's plenty of head to look at. And from a feel point of view, it's a really well-balanced, not the greatest strike in the world, but it's really well-balanced feel through the head. There's no kind of harshness to it. The head stays nice and it stays with the contact really well. So there's no doubting the quality of material. But yeah, there's no real tech in there, so the consistency of distance and spin should be great. But if you're someone who doesn't need a fairly heavy swing weight, just be careful of these ones and the blades because they are on the heavy side.
Very good. Mark Gay says, what clubs do you swing? Driver, question mark. What have I got?
You've got a TSR2.
That's it.
11 degree with a Diamana TB70X.
That's what I've got. What have you got?
I've got a TSR3 in an 8 degree, just lofted up a touch, C4 setting with a VA composite Sinister 65 stiff, 44 and 7/8 at D3.
There you go. Andrew Hommett. Good evening, gents. Good evening, Andrew. Hope you are well. We are. Not sure if you answered this last week, but have you played Blackmore Golf Club? And what's Stuart's opinion on the launch, spin, distance, and forgiveness? I've just jumped from one question to the next one.
Two. Yeah.
Blackmore Golf. And what's Stuart's opinion on the Pro Sender when looking to stay connected? I'm not a fan of the Pro Sender. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole personally, but lots of people are using it and having great success with it. But again, it's just another sticky aid on a 40-something else. So not my bag that, but look, not to say that it can't work for you. Blackmore Golf Club, I have played it, but I can't remember it. Lewis plays
I've not played it. Yeah, Lewis plays it. I've not played it.
Isn't he a member there?
Yeah, Selborne Salver was played down. It was always a ridiculous ballot to get in because it was the same weekend as Hampshire Hog.
Yeah.
Meant to be nice.
What have we got here? Adam, I've been struggling finding a golf glove I like for 6 months. 6 months? 6 months. After the glove I used got discontinued. Tried GX gloves and love them. Thanks for influencing me. You are welcome. And
good,
GX golf gloves have got a Black Friday deal going on when it's Black Friday. It's something, do you know what? It's something like, I don't think I can get onto it here. Can I get onto it here? Yes, I can get onto it here. I'm going to give you a little inside scoop on what GX golf gloves have got coming on because it is a ridiculous deal. It is a Tour stand bag, a GX head cover, 9 players Cabretta gloves, a GX golf grips, full bag, 13 grips, GX large tour towel, GX ball marker, decals, golf tees, worth over £500 for $299. It's going to be out Black Friday, limited stocks. Go check that out. That is going to be crazy, crazy good. So stay tuned for that. But a great brand. Great
Yeah,
gloves,
the gloves are great.
Grains,
You know,
gloves are spectacular.
I've been really, say when I first I'm pleasantly surprised at how good they are, and they last really well. Yeah, yeah. Very, very good product.
Yeah, amazing. Simon Caulfield, how would a Callaway Elite Triple Diamond driver at 9 degrees with a heavyweight back compared to a 10.5 with a heavyweight forward in terms of launch, spin, distance and forgiveness?
So this is, I believe, a question that you emailed in earlier that I was going to, when I fit. I've only finished my fitting just before starting. So, what you tend to do if you're using low loft lofted up, high loft lofted down, the low loft lofted up, the CG's lower, therefore spins less. So it was 9 degree weight back, 10 and a half weight forward.
Yep.
Let's give him a hit.
While he goes off and finds that, let's have a little look further down. Kev T, 684. Nice to have you with us, Kev. Evening, gents. Would you prescribe to changing your ball in the winter, playing a Pro V1, thinking of going to Strixon? I think for what it does, nah, I'd stick to the same.
Funny you should say this. There's a video coming out, not too distant future, it's easy for me to say, about equipment changes for winter. So the one thing, depending on where your swing speed's at, in principle, and there's really not a lot in it, but if you have mid-irons and things, you can go from a Pro V1 down to most balls and your mid-irons aren't going to change too much. Wedges, you don't need the same level of spin when the greens are soggy and wet, it's got to plug anyway. And if you're not playing high level kind of competitive golf, which you're not going to be in the winter, you know, yes, the ball flight pops up, the carry distance won't be a million miles off, but when it's firm, a lower grade ball won't stop and a Pro V1 will, but in winter it's going to plug and stop anyway. And in principle with a driver, you're not going to be swinging it as quickly, and in theory, a kind of a non-Pro V1 ball, you're loading the core a little bit more easily by dropping compression, which optimizes spin a little bit more. You get a hair more launch out of them. So on balance, there is an argument for going to a softer core ball, and if it plugs in the middle of the fairway in winter and you lose it, it hurts a lot less when it's two quid versus 6 or 7 that a Pro V1 is. So there is an argument for it, but is it a big difference? No.
That was a very long-winded answer to a very short, real answer.
But the detail is there for them if they want it. But it's an interesting
So I was
one,
just nodding off.
Because I thought there would be, when we did the test, I thought there would be more difference, and that will be coming out in the video soon. But
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Rob K, I've been given a Mizuno MP53 set with an NP 850 Neo shafts. I don't feel enough head weight and think I probably need something more forgiving, but do love the feel. I'm a 15 to 18 handicap, bit of a steep swing. Thoughts on club recommendations?
You can definitely get more forgiveness. If you're a 15 to 18 handicap, it depends on where your ball flight is. I'll caveat with this, you've got so many more heads that they give you much more performance in different frames and shapes of heads. It depends whether you need lower spin or moderate spin, or but there are a heck of a lot of heads. I mean, you can go to the extreme of a Ping G440 and get much more forgiveness, but you're going to hate the feel compared to those MP53s because it's a much harder, clickier sound. Actually, most of the forgiving heads you're going to hate the feel of compared to those MP53s because of the materials they use. But there are so many heads out there, I couldn't possibly give you even 2 or 3 because it depends so much where your strike point is and where your flight is. But you could pretty much pick up 90% of what's on the market now and get more forgiveness.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
But the feel will be amazing off those Mizunos when you hit them well.
Yeah. Give it a swipe.
9 degree weight, heavyweight back.
Right.
Was
and then
first option.
10.5 weight forwards, right?
Yep. Right. Okie dokie. Fairly solid here. These heads, Callaway heads, measure a little bit more loft to stated loft than some. So, you know, for me, that produces a fairly high launch, but spins nice and moderate at.
Haven't missed one yet.
I
Tonight,
know.
You're on
Yeah.
it. Get yourself out on the golf course.
Well, I was Saturday, but my hips, it was cold, and the hips didn't lie, and they didn't move very much.
Got it.
It was, the good was good, but the bad was bad.
Right.
Yeah. Thankfully, there were a lot of birdies, which helped keep the match going.
Yeah. So you're going to try
So the
10.5
10.5 with the weight forward.
forwards now.
So ultimately, what you do with the weights, you can't override where the loft sits. You know, so moving the weight forward in a 10.5 is still going to hit it higher. Launch angle should be higher than the weight back in a 9 degree because you've got a 1.5 degree loft difference. So that will make a bigger difference to launch angle than the weight shift will, but the weight shift will affect the feel, a little bit the way the club head moves, i.e. weight back. If you tend to drop the club a little and open the face a bit in transition, weight back will affect that a little bit more. But you know, in principle, you know, the weight forward keeps the spin down as much as possible, but it's still got 1.5 degree more loft. So got the same weights in the heads, just flipped back to front. So up the launch goes to, so I caught that a bit higher on the face. Up the launch goes to 15 a bit degrees. Where I caught it a bit higher, the spin knuckles a bit, but that kept the spin down a little bit more. And they ended up 3 yards shorter than the other one, but sort of higher launch, but keeps the spin down, and the 9 degrees weight back, launches lower, keeps the spin up a little bit more. Different feels, slightly different spin dynamics. Depending on where you want your flight window to be, for some, the higher loft just gets it to the top of the flight a bit quicker, and if you like to see the higher flight, then you can use the higher loft weight forward, but you don't want to find it knuckling spin-wise, so the lower loft weight back, if your lower spin might regulate that a bit better.
Very good. Very good. Simon Muggleton. Simon, nice to have you with us. Hi, guys. Hi, Simon. Hope all is well. Yep, good with us, thanks. Hope it is for you too. Struggling with flight and height out of rough and bad lies with a 5-iron. I've got 25-yard gap between the 6-iron and 7-wood. Which of a 6 hybrid, 5 hybrid or 9 wood would be a good swap for a 5-iron?
Yes. So 7 wood's 21 degrees, 5-iron, depending what model, is somewhere between 23 and 26, I would have thought. Iron, yeah, out of rough, especially if it's wet, is going to come out low. 5 hybrids tend to be around the 26, 27 degree mark. 6 hybrid will be more, so I probably wouldn't go, it's going to be 28 to 30, so I probably wouldn't go down that route. 9 wood's around 24 degrees of loft. You might find with the 9 wood, that can pop it up a little bit. So as a best guess, the 5 hybrid is probably the best all round. Shaft length is close to an iron, so out of rough helps you get down into, you know, steepen the angle of attack a little bit more, but means it doesn't just flare up in the air like the 9 wood could do if you get it marginally high in the face. I'd probably err towards the 5 hybrid. However, that is a bit of a best guess. I'd need to check, you know, all your specs and things to give you a better picture on it. But if you've got a 5-iron in the bag, then you're not needing that much height, so I'd probably go the 5 hybrid.
Danny Stimpson, golf question. I have a Ventus Blue AV 65, a flex shaft in my Cobra DS. Swing speed is 98 miles an hour, but still at 3,000 revs, hitting out of the middle. Help to get more spin down.
Well, shaft-wise, I think there might be a bit of confusion because there is no such thing as a Ventus AV. That'll be a Tensei, I think. So probably the Tensei if it's the AV, because that's a Mitsubishi shaft and Mitsubishi use the AV moniker. I mean, in principle, a non-stock shaft, a higher grade material, in principle will help to bring the spin down a little bit, but it could also be head style. You know, head style will definitely have a direct influence on spin, but if you were to go to like the full fat version of a Tensei 1K or a full fat Ventus sort of proper aftermarket shaft, that has a strong chance of taking a bit of spin down. But if there's anywhere near you to be able to test them to know what the right answer is, then that's the way to do it. It's bit of speculation.
TYB, the Yorkshire Blade. Hi Simon, what do you make of the new Wilson staff balls?
I haven't tested them yet.
Very
honestly.
good.
So they haven't brought them around yet. So yeah.
Doug says, how good is Simon hitting it all these different clubs and making it look easy? He is on form tonight.
Some very forgiving heads out there, I think.
Lewis Tompkins, 6403. Hi guys, my driver shaft broke in the car. Nightmare. I had a Carly White 60X. What other shafts are similar?
So the whites for any Mitsubishi shaft, which the Kylie is one of them. The white is a white board profile, so it's tip stiff and designed around lower launch, lower spin. I mean, there are quite a few shafts. I mean, you've got a DM on a whiteboard. You've got the Tensei 1K white series. You go to a Torre DVF. You go to an Oban Kyoshi black, but that's heavier. Most brands will have a similar, Ventus blue. Is it going to be a similar, or black is going to be a similar style where they're tip stiff and low spin. There are an awful lot of shafts out there that are going to be similar. But if you are looking at a aftermarket version that was going to up the grade of material a little bit, then most likely the white board is going to be the one to match. But depending on how firm you want to feel, you might want to drop down a flex if you want to keep some feedback out of it, because the whiteboard is a little more stout.
If you're new to a Monday Night Live, we do this every week, 6 p.m. Give us a double tap on the screen if you're watching on vertical, and why not double tap the screen? Anyway, if you're watching it on the Precision Golf website too.
Horizontal.
Yes, exactly. Hi guys, this is Stephen Forge 89. I have a Denali Red 60 gram 6.0 in my G440 LST driver. Would like to put a Ventus shaft in it. Would you recommend like for like?
As in Ventus Red. Well, Ventus Red would be the closest of the Ventuses to it. It's still in principle a lower spin. Like, none of the Ventus are actually high spin shafts. The Red is just the highest of the Ventus range. So if you want to keep a bit of feedback and keep a bit of flight to it, then yep, the Ventus Red would be the closest match to not then really kind of effectively kill the tip. The Ventus Blue and Black are very tip stout. The Red keeps a bit of kick out of it, and that would keep some flight but allow you to go into the Ventus range, keeping some feedback.
Dizzy Earl, do you guys have any drills to get into that nice bowed wrist before the downswing, and when in the backswing would you start bowing? I would strongly really put you off trying to bow. I would just work on getting a better grip. Bowing your wrist is really dysfunctional, and it can create a lot of issues more than it solves. So check out my grip series. That will sort your grip, and you won't ever need to worry about bowing your grip ever again. So that would be the route to that for
If I
you.
bowed my left wrist, I would hit it through my left toe.
Yeah, not good, not good. Ever since Dustin Johnson, right?
Yeah, Dustin and Rahm and Koepka.
Yeah. Dan France, 8506. Hi guys, after a long break with left knee injury, I'm struggling to launch my GT2 13.53 wood and with my Ventus Red 7X. Should I try a 15 or 16.5 degree GT2 head, or switch out the shaft too? Thank you.
I mean, certainly more loft is if you're struggling to flight it, then yeah, more loft is going to help get it airborne. Depending on how you're able to swing, the shaft may still be appropriate, but if you're finding it kind of hard work to swing as well, then if you're struggling to get onto that left side and commit as much, then you might find something a little bit lighter or a little more responsive. Just helps you feel like you can get more out of it. But certainly from a flight point of view, loft straight away will give you more flight. You're going to the 15, you're going to get probably 400 or 500 revs more spin and pick a degree and a bit of launch up. So depending on how much more you need, dictates how much extra loft to go, but that will directly impact flight. Shaft is more how easy it is to get back to the ball in time.
Danny Stimpson, oops, yes, Tensei, you know your shizzle. Yes, he does. Les London 2170, are HL irons really better for slow senior golfers?
So in principle, yes. So in terms of if you're lower speed, then you just generate less spin, less lift. So it's important to get the ball to the top of the flight quickly. So in principle, an HL head, we do an awful lot of, for example, the Mizuno, the 925 hot metal HL. Titleist do the 250 Star, which is a higher loft and lighter head weight, and Callaway the Elite HL iron, again more loft, a little bit lighter head weight. So all of that is designed to help get a bit of extra club head speed when they're a lighter head weight, but also just more loft and more flight, designed to get it airborne more, so you get more carry. If you don't have a lot of speed, you won't spin it a lot, and so launch angle is critical at that point.
Very good. Andrew Morrison, 3027. Evening, gents. Could you compare the NS Pro 1050 with similar weight modus and a dynamic gold iron shafts, please? We will beaver off and get those. TP Hartley 999. Hi guys, thanks Stuart for the advice last week. RE the driver yips. Oh yes, TP Hartley, I remember the question. Had driver yips for 20 years, but your advice has given me some hope. Going to be a long journey, but I think you are onto something. Yet just make sure that you keep hitting the same shape, however you are going to do it. Just hit the same shape, get comfortable with that, take it out on the golf course, just keep on hitting the same shape, and I promise you it will come back. Also check out something called Heart Math. It is something that I used with Nick Doherty when he came to me and wanted to work on with his driver. It's something that taps into your autonomic nervous system, and it's a way of evoking different emotion that you link with golf shots. It's really worth trying, and you can actually get an app that allows you to measure, well, if you've got a Whoop band, you can get your HRV on that, I believe. It measures HRV, which is heart rate variability, and it's a good way of tapping into good emotion when you're out on the golf course and pushing back some discomfort with the driver. Good luck with that. Keep on letting us know how you're getting on.
Autonomic, that sounds like a nice word.
Autonomic, yeah.
Yeah. So start with the 1050. So the nip on the 1050 series, 1050 GH, this has been around a long time, very moderate profile, kind of mid-launch, mid-spin. The 1050, 950, 850, 1150 series, really versatile. Not something you see outside the 950, not something you see that often places, but really nice sort of mid-balance, kind of mid-hundreds in terms of weight-wise from a shaft point of view. So, very, a nice sort of neutral shaft to go to. So moderate balance point, bit of kick through the middle. Uses the tip of the shaft, feel a bit of load in it, mid-launch, mid-spin. Very, very neutral in that respect. So if we want to go to a shaft that doesn't really promote, isn't overly harsh and is very kind of what I call sort of vanilla as a shaft, that's a great start point in that weight range. We then go to Modus 105. So the design principle of the Modus 105 and the 120 is softer butt section for a bit of responsiveness, but very stable tip for dispersion control. In theory means it's a slightly lower spin version than, say, the 1050. It also, because they've stabilised the tip section, the balance point goes down the bottom a little bit more, so it swings a little bit more tip heavy. So feels a little more stout at impact. Slightly stronger feel, gives a little bit more to hit against. Marginally different spin, but not an awful lot, but just times it a little differently, allows you to hit at it a little bit more. And then I'm going to go to Dynamic Gold 105. So this, in principle, not quite as tip stiff as the Modus 105, but balance point just as much down the bottom end. You've also got things like the Dynamic Gold Mid at 100 grams, which has got a softer tip. But this one, again, swings a little bit more bottom end heavy, definitely gives you more to hit against the bottom end of the shaft, which I've got to fetch a little bit more. And as a result of that, feels a little bit more solid at impact, but slightly higher spin than the Modus. So you've got 3 levels of effort required to make them work. Modus a bit lower spin than Dynamic Gold 105 and the 1050, similar in terms of design, but the Dynamic Gold swings that little bit heavier.
You woke Barney up there. He's got all excitable.
Sorry.
Got excited. It was out cold a minute ago. Then he got the irons out, and that was it. He was off. He was off. Nick. Yes, where am I? Yeah, so Nick 4769. When fitting stronger lofted irons, do you measure flight based on optimal 6-iron flight when hitting a 7-iron, or is optimal 7-iron flight the same regardless of the golf clubs?
That's a very good question, actually. So if you're, ideally we only want to go to the really strong lofted heads if we need the spin down, the launch down. There are plenty of forgiving heads that then retain a little bit of flight as well. But if a head style works particularly well, be it ball speed or be it consistency across the face, then sometimes you do just have to look at the 7-iron as a 6-iron in terms of flight, because ultimately you're still just looking at the set of what is the lowest lofted club that someone can control and get decent control when it lands on. And yeah, for 6-irons down at 24 degrees, well, that's basically it's slightly stronger than my 5-iron loft. So you have to be realistic with how well does that head perform, and actually can we make those heads work. But you have to build the 7-iron at 7-iron specs from a length point of view because of head weights, but you do sometimes have to look at it as, yeah, let's flight the 7-iron as a 6-iron in order to get the rest balance of performance. But lofts at the bottom can get a little funky. Balancing distances in the wedges can be challenging with some of those heads.
Virtuoso Blacker, evening guys, evening. Got a QI 10 7-wood, a 21 degree, and also a Ping G425 4 hybrid, 22 degrees, degrees lofted up to 23 degrees. They are a bit close in distance. Would it be worth looking at the Ping G440, 23 degree, and lofting it up, or a 5 hybrid?
So the 440 hybrid is actually pretty low spin. It will launch, but they are low spin. What was the hybrid head that they've got? Was it a 430? 425. Yes. So the 425 hybrid is a kind of is not as high launching, but spins just a little bit more. So the 440 will pop it up a little bit more, but it's still quite a strong hitting head. Hybrids are funny creatures sometimes. Actually, it would be, I couldn't hand on heart say what you should absolutely do. If the 7-wood is giving you really good performance, you want to benchmark off that, then at 21 degrees, you definitely need to go to more of a 24 degree head to take some of that distance back. The 440 lofted up might work for you, but it might still take too much spin off from what we've seen this year with it. It's still a good head, very versatile, but I couldn't hand on heart say this is what you should do, because I just don't know where your flight patterns are.
Michael Owens, I bought a Ping G425 in a 9 degree and
I need ear defenders.
Racked this up to 10.5 degrees. How would this affect performance compared to playing a natural 10.5 off the shelf?
So by turning the loft up, if you think there's a lot of weight at the back of the head here, by turning the loft up, you're lowering the CG at the back of the head. So whilst you get the loft on it, actually it plays lower spin than the 10.5 in its natural position would. So that's one element to it. But also by taking the 9 degree and turning it up, you're closing the face a little bit. So you're creating a bit of a drawbars with it as well.
Very good. We are on to Daniel Winterbottom, 5531. Hi, gents. Looking to get a full bag fit pre-season next year, but having lessons first. Is that a good idea? Also, what's best for best order for a full bag fit split over 2 sessions?
So the split can be either way, with woods first, irons first. I would generally recommend doing irons first, because once we know where your ball flight is in your kind of mid to longer irons, it's then easier to structure back from maximum distance with driver in the second session back towards the irons and balance off flights and job rolls for the clubs. So that's why I personally prefer to do it. Some might say the other way, but I prefer doing it that way. What was the other part of the question? Lessons first, was it?
Lessons first.
You know what? Everyone will benefit from lessons. As to whether the clubs are hindering you at all, they could be, but equally speaking, if you're establishing some better patterns through the lessons, that's only going to make the fitting and the results of the fitting, it's only going to help. At least knowing what you're doing with the lessons and getting a direction for what you're doing with the swing, again, it's only going to help the fitter know where to pitch the equipment a little bit more. There are times where fitting first can change. I had a chap in last week whose clubs are monstrously heavy, and the move that he and his coach were trying to do, impossible with them. So there are times it can go the other way around, but if you're working your swing, it can never be a bad thing.
Thomas Millard, hi guys. First one I've caught in a while. Good to have you with us, Thomas. If I got an iron fitting, would there be any issues with me getting heads myself and shafts through yourselves fitted? Many thanks, Tom.
In principle, absolutely not. The only consideration here is some brands do slightly different weights. So get the fitting done first. This might sound like a stupidly obvious comment, but not everyone does it this way. Get the fitting done first and know exactly what you need to get. Because, say, some brands offer different head weights, or some brands' heads will not make a spec possible if a heavy head doesn't suit you. I think that came out right. Yeah, as long as you know what you need to get, there's no problem at all doing that. And generally speaking, most of the time from a warranty point of view, you have to take the heads back to where you purchased them. With the relationship we have with the brands over here, that's generally not a problem if something happens that needs sorting out with.
Tom Middlehurst wanted you to compare a club, but we're right on time, so we'll save that for next week. Ask us that one next week. Love the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And everything you guys at PG do. Also, where do you get your hitting turf and strike mat from?
So the strike mat is a Southwest surface. I think it's either Tour T or Pro T. I don't remember, they've changed the name of it. But yeah, it's a great surface, one that Titleist use up at TP Art Woburn, and really good for protecting against injuries. But yeah, Southwest greens.
Richie says, top of the day to you guys. Top of the day to you too, Richie. Chris Powell, 3880. Hi guys, Simon fit me into an Acrotour ZX255 M4 driver shaft about 6 years ago. It's an amazing shaft. Would have to snap before a switch. What would be a new equivalent? Good question.
So Acra's current line will swing very differently. So it's interesting, the new TZ green and red are a very different feel, so it wouldn't actually be an Acra shaft. So the 255 M4 is a sort of 58 gram. It's stable through the midsection, but uses the tip a bit more, so it's a mid-launch, mid to low spin, but has a bit of kick in the tip. I would say, what would I say that? I mean, you could potentially go for like a Ventus Red 5X, possibly. Graphite design, the GC won't swing quite the same. I think it's quite an interesting profile, that one. There aren't too many that are going to feel as stout at that weight. I'd have to have a little bit of a think, because that was a really very good shaft at the time, but most at that weight are going to feel a little bit more loose. So I might have to think about a couple there.
We're there.
Do we do it?
We're there. No,
we didn't do it.
We got nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. But listen, so grateful for all of the questions you fire in. It's getting busier and busier every week. So do hit us up nice and early for those questions, and we will get through as many as we possibly can. Hopefully, as the channel grows and the lives get busier and busier, you'll tune in super early and get those questions in nice and early. Thank you so much for being with us. Another cracking show.
Busy week coming up?
Busy week coming up. Yeah, got loads to do. Loads to do. Been away. Been a busy October for me. Bit of travelling and stuff. So a little bit behind the 8 ball on the content and the coaching and all that kind of stuff. But it's good problems to have, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. All the answers to YouTube questions and things is done at 9 p.m. at night, sat in bed. But to say, great with the interaction. The last couple in particular, but it's growing and growing, and really grateful for it. So thank you. And got your busy week in the fitting bay this week, and then we start to get brands coming through with new product over the next few weeks. So,
and how far in advance of you? So, what would be the furthest out launch day or launch product that you would know about?
So there'll be something we'll be seeing, which will be launching kind of March. So it's the next cycle. So really, most are back into January or through January, early Feb, and then there are some other products like wedges, putters, generally be March to April. So we might see some of those, we will be seeing some of those. But it's next year's product.
Right. So you'll be seeing some March product.
Yeah.
Over the next few weeks.
Essentially, a kind of Q1 launches.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. That's interesting, isn't it? So, it's nice to get the scoop on that.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, you can't talk about it. Yeah. Maybe I'll try and prod some info out of him, but unlikely. He doesn't buckle easily. Anyway, we're going to be back next week, Monday at 6 p.m. You're going to be here?
I shall be here, yes.
You're going to be here, James? We'll all be here. Are you going to be here? Yes, you will be. We'll see you next week. Have a great time. All the best. Brilliant. Thanks for being with us, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks for all the interaction.
Yeah, good show. Good show.
Keeping
and all
fit
that.
with all these hitting.
Yeah, I mean, he was on form today, hasn't he? He's got some moves, the fella. Going to be doing a Golf Tips Live next week. Tomorrow. And I've got a video coming out tomorrow too. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much. See you all soon.